gravando. A gente grava para poder colocar no nosso YouTube e ficar disponível para aqueles que não puderam participar hoje. Então, muito boa noite a todo mundo, em nome da AC, em nome da Australian Center. Estamos aí muito felizes com a participação da Monash, a Sharon, diretamente do México. Sharon, thank you very much for being here, for your time.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Nanny. I'm excited to be here, excited to see all of you be here. Thank you for your time and interest. And yeah, I'm ready to share with you everything about Monash University.
Thank you, Sharon. Eu só vou dar compartilhar com vocês algumas informações antes. Durante o evento, se vocês tiverem alguma dúvida e quiserem perguntar, eu vou pedir para que vocês sempre usem esse QIA lá em cima ou embaixo, eu não sei aonde ele está na tela de vocês, que na verdade em inglês é questions and answers, tá? Algumas questões a gente vai responder ao vivo no final da apresentação e algumas questões a gente vai respondendo direto no chat, direto aqui no Q&A, durante o evento, tá? Então, fiquem à vontade de colocar aí as dúvidas de vocês, que a gente vai responder tudo direitinho para vocês. Então, bom, nós somos da Australian Center, a gente vai falar aí hoje um pouquinho sobre graduação e pós-graduação na Austrália, na verdade, na Monash University, uma das melhores universidades do mundo, não é só da Austrália, é do mundo, tá? Só falar um pouquinho da AC, quem nós somos, a Australian Center. Nós somos uma agência de intercâmbio especializada em Austrália, tá? Com 5 lojas na Austrália, atendimento em todo o Brasil, e o nosso head office aqui no Brasil fica na cidade de São Paulo. Então, a gente vai ajudá-los nesse primeiro momento, com dúvidas, ajudá-los na aplicação para a universidade, fazendo certificação dos documentos, a gente vai ajudá-los com acomodação, com passagem aérea, com tudo que for necessário, tá? Inclusive com uma das coisas mais importantes do programa de vocês, que é a aplicação do visto. Então, vocês vão poder contar com todo o nosso suporte em todos os momentos aí do intercâmbio de vocês, tá? Bom, falei um pouquinho onde nós estamos: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth e Gold Coast, tá? Eu sou a Daniela, eu sou responsável pela operação da Australian Center no Brasil. Já morei na Austrália, fiz meu intercâmbio na Austrália e sou uma apaixonada por Austrália. Então, aqui na Australian Center nós temos vários consultores e colaboradores, e todos os nossos consultores já moraram na Austrália, tá? Muitos, inclusive, já moraram em Melbourne, que é a cidade onde fica a Monash University. Então, se vocês tiverem qualquer dúvida, a gente vai poder compartilhar tudo isso com vocês. Eu quero passar um vídeo rapidinho para vocês, que eu tenho certeza que vocês vão gostar. Esse vídeo é incrível.
How can the color blue be a feeling? Well, it's hard to describe, but it is. You see, it's different down here. The air just has more life in it. Sounds touch you, and the light fills you up somehow. Yeah, it's a place that stays with you. And sometimes, if you're lucky, it stays forever. Because Australia isn't just a place you see, it's a place you feel.
Your soul
first time. It'll all make sense, you know. Yeah, you know. Your soul, feel it in your veins, breathe it in your lungs, will stay. It's like love for the first time. It'll all make sense. You know it. It's like love in your soul. Australia isn't just a place you see. It's a place you feel.
Austrália. Eu imagino que todos vocês já tenham um pouco de familiaridade com a Austrália, já conheçam um pouquinho da Austrália. A Austrália é um país tão grande quanto o Brasil, tá? É um pouquinho menor que o Brasil. O Brasil é o quinto maior país do mundo em extensão territorial. A Austrália é o sexto maior país do mundo. É um país economicamente muito forte, com um custo de vida acessível. Hoje o dólar australiano é mais barato que o euro, que o dólar canadense, que o dólar americano. Então, eu acho que isso é uma vantagem para quem quer fazer um intercâmbio para a Austrália. Uma coisa muito legal na Austrália é o que o visto de estudante dá permissão de trabalho. Então, desculpa, a partir do momento que vocês começam as aulas, vocês já podem trabalhar. A Austrália é um país que recebe muito bem as pessoas que vão com família, né? Então, aqueles estudantes que querem ir com o parceiro, esposa, marido, levar filhos. Então, a Austrália permite que vocês apliquem para um visto juntos, com descontos para a escola das crianças. Então, eu acho que isso é bem bacana. É um país, enfim, a natureza é incrível, os australianos são parecidíssimos com os brasileiros, o clima é igual ao nosso, verão aqui é verão lá, as estações do ano são as mesmas. É um país que investe muito em educação, né? Então, a gente tem aí na Austrália 39 universidades públicas. Dessas 39, são mais ou menos 8 que estão entre as 100 melhores do mundo, incluindo a Monash. E aí depois a Sharon vai falar um pouquinho mais para vocês, tá? E a Austrália oferece um programa de imigração qualificada. O que é isso? Aqueles que querem ir para a Austrália e querem ficar no país, né, tentar reais possibilidades de viver no país, a Austrália oferece aí alguns caminhos que são bem legais para que vocês possam ter acesso a isso, tá? Mas a Austrália é muito mais, né? Quando eu falo que a Austrália é um país que investe em educação, é um país também super inovador. E aqui eu quero compartilhar com vocês algumas inovações australianas que nem todos conhecem. Por exemplo, o Wi-Fi. O Wi-Fi é uma tecnologia australiana, foi desenvolvido em uma universidade da Austrália, assim como o Google Maps, fertilização in vitro, ultrassom, a vacina contra o câncer cervical, a caixa preta dos aviões, ouvido biônico, e tem milhões de outras que a gente fica difícil a gente poder colocar aqui. Então, vocês podem ter certeza que o caminho de vocês, se vocês forem estudar na Austrália, vai ser um caminho realmente bem bacana aí a ser trilhado. Eu vou pedir para vocês, eu vou compartilhar aqui agora uma enquete, vou deixar aí essa enquete uns minutinhos não, uns 30, 40 segundos, e vou pedir para que vocês respondam, por favor, qual que é o curso que vocês estão procurando, tá? Porque aí a gente vai direcionar um pouquinho a nossa apresentação para o curso que vocês estiverem procurando. Então, vamos lá. Olha, tem bastante gente procurando uma pós-graduação, um mestrado, alguns procurando curso de inglês. Muito bacana, muito legal. Perfeito. Bom, eu vou compartilhar agora, eu vou passar agora essa apresentação para Sharon. Sharon, essa apresentação vai ser em inglês, tá? Então, aqueles que estão procurando estudar inglês na Austrália, se vocês tiverem alguma dificuldade, compartilhem no QIA, tá? Eu vou pedir para a Sharon falar um pouco mais devagar, então vai dar tudo certo, tá bom? Sharon, hi, Sharon.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Dani. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yo no falo portugués, falo español, but I will make the presentation in English. I will try to go not too fast so you can try to understand me, okay? So I'm going to share my screen. Please leave your questions in the chat so we can answer them when we finish.
Sharon, can you understand what is
Yes, a little bit of what you said. Yes, you know, some, like I would say like half of what you said or a little bit more. It's easier for you to understand Spanish than for me Portuguese.
No. I'm just talking about the search that I just put there.
Yes. That's what I meant. I understood like, yeah, like
so
60-70%. Yes.
We have interests here in bachelor, masters, and research as well.
Okay, well, I'll cover a little bit of each. Okay, thanks, Annie. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, so hi, my name is Sharon Khan. I am Mexican. I'm based here in Mexico City, but I work for Monash University since more than 10 years ago. So I am an expert in Monash University, and I am senior manager for Monash in all Latin America, but I live here in Mexico City. And well, we're going to talk a little bit about Monash and why to choose Monash as a study destination. And well, Monash is a young university. It started in 1958 in Melbourne. The name comes from Sir John Monash, who was one of the most important personalities in Australian history. Sir John Monash had a philosophy of giving something to community and to society, and not only for self-benefit. So that's also the vision that the university has, and what is also taught when you are learning. If you go to Melbourne and to Australia, you will find avenues and monuments, and even Monash University in the honor of Sir John Monash. So he was very famous in Australia, and Monash University is very, very famous and prestigious in Australia. It actually belongs to the famous group of 8, which are the top 8 universities in the country. And well, we are also one of the most international universities in the world. We're going to see that in a little bit in more detail. And our rankings are very high. We are ranked top 50 in the world. We will also learn about that a little more in detail in a little bit. Okay, so as I was saying, we're the largest uni in Australia. We have almost 70,000 students, but in many campuses, not only in Melbourne. And almost 1/3 or even more are international. We are very, very multicultural. We have students from more than 170 countries. Can you imagine having friends from so many countries? That way you can expand your connections. You can become really global, because that's what the world is currently about. It's global. So you can get many, many connections for work and friends from many different parts of the world. We also have many exchange agreements with more than 130 universities, and of course, many alumni. For those interested in research, we belong to the group of 8, which are the leading universities in research in Australia. So of course, we have a lot of research centers, more than 100 just in Monash University. They're very high technology, really, really expensive, and some of them are unique actually in the world. And we have research excellence because Monash is also dedicated to research. Actually, our teachers are not only teachers, most of them have PhD and are researchers themselves. So the quality is really, really high. So this guarantees like an excellence of education for every one of you. And well, as Danny was commenting, many things have been discovered in Australia. These are just some of the examples here. And I'll get in, and well, in Monash, for example, the first in vitro transplant in the world was made in Monash University, the in vitro transplant. And actually the first research of stem cells, which is now so used in medicine, the first research was also made at Monash University. Right now, the first bionic eye is being researched in humans. It's already in experiments in humans. The bionic eye is a microchip that is inserted into the brain, so people that lost their eyesight can recover it. So it's an amazing innovation, and it goes with the philosophy of Monash, which is giving something to humanity and to community, not only for self-purpose. And well, we are based in Melbourne. Here, this is in Australia. This is Melbourne, the capital of Victoria State. So we are based right here, south of Australia. And you probably heard about it because it was very famous on all the media. We are currently the most livable city in Australia and number 3 in the world. Oh, I'm sorry. This jumped for some reason. So Melbourne is an amazing city. It has pretty much everything. I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry. Melbourne is the most livable city in Australia. It's actually known as the student city of Australia. It's really, really amazing. It has a lot of beaches, and it has nature and natural reserves. You can find it all. For example, here you can see you can do surfing, you can go to vineyards, if you want snow, you can get snow in winter, like 2 hours away from Melbourne, not exactly Melbourne. And of course, we have like animal sanctuaries, you have everything. You have also parks and beaches, as I was saying. Like this image is like really famous, it's called Brighton Beach. It's almost like a worldwide famous image. So that's like about 20 minutes away from downtown, but we also have beaches in the middle of the city in Melbourne. And we have amazing green areas. It's like a really, really nice and livable ecological city. And of course, Melbourne is an exciting city. It's a capital of sport. For example, the Australian Open is actually in Melbourne. The Formula One Grand Prix is actually in Melbourne. The Melbourne Cup, which is a horse racing, is also in Melbourne. Like everything mainly happens in Melbourne. It's not the capital of the government, that's Canberra, but Melbourne is the capital of pretty much everything else. It's a capital of culture. There's a lot of events and festivals. It's like a magical city, exciting. Something is always going on. So it's a fun city for students. It's actually known as the student city of Australia. That is Melbourne. And it is like much less expensive than cities like Sydney. Sydney is like 15% more expensive. And that city is more for professionists, not for students. So Melbourne is really, really welcoming for students. And it has like an amazing transportation system that it goes 24/7 all week long, 24 hours. So if you can get one of those trains that goes all the way across the city, if you missed it, don't worry. 1 minute later, 2 or 2 minutes later, there will be another train that goes to the same place through a different route. So it's really, really easy to get your transportation. And those rankings are from the Economist Intelligence Unit. So this is a ranking that measures like life quality in the world. So yes, we're number 1 in Australia and 3 in the world. So, well, there's also more universities than Monash. The majority is like lower quality, but still that gives like the city a really nice atmosphere, a really nice environment, really good vibes with many, many young people, unlike other cities, as I said, like Sydney, which is a lot more like professionalists. And I'm gonna leave this little video made by the state of Victoria so you can watch it.
Walk around through the streets of your town. No, I won't be late. Let my pride wash away with the tide on a warm summer day. I free myself from the past. Want you to stay. Walk around through
as you can see, it's an amazing city. It has everything like Victorian architecture. Architecture is really modern, from the best architects in the world. It's known as a coffee city in Australia. It's full of little cafes and restaurants. It has like many foreign restaurants, like international cuisine. It's really, really amazing. And it's really a great experience for our international students. And well, now we're going to talk about our international network. As I was saying, we are the most international university in Australia, but also have 4 campuses in Melbourne. So they are called Clayton, Caulfield, Parkville, and Peninsula, because that is the name of the areas of the city. So our Clayton campus, I'm sorry, it's very sensitive, the keyboard, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. So wait a second. I don't know why, but again, I don't know what's happening. Very sensitive today. There. So the Clayton campus is really, really huge. Just imagine it has its own postal code, its own zip code. It's really large. It has amazing buildings, super modern. As you can see, that's only one from the many buildings that we have there. It has like residences where you can live. It has a theater open to the public of more than 500 people. You have like little like places where you can cut your hair, a supermarket, huge sports facilities. You have everything in that campus. It's really, really amazing. And that is like 20 minutes away from downtown. It's not in the middle of the city because it wouldn't fit. It's really large. We also have Caulfield campus, which is the second one you can see there. We have architecture and design there. So it depends what you're going to study, which campus you're going to go. Caulfield is like 15 minutes away from downtown. And then Parkville is only for pharmacy and pharmaceutical science. That's in the middle of downtown. It's specialized in pharmacy. And the Peninsula campus is for health science, for things related to medicine and health. So we have all these 4 campuses. And if you want to go, let's say, from Clayton to Caulfield campus, we have like minivans that take you for free every half an hour. And they even have Wi-Fi. They are super modern, ecological, and you can even like be chatting on your way to the campus, or, or doing homework, whatever you'd like. These are other images you can see to get an idea of what our campuses look like. As you see, it's really, really modern. You can see an interior here on the top. It's amazing. So we are from the Group of 8, so we have incredible resources to build, to renovate our buildings. And a difference between Monash and other universities is that Monash is very modern and highly technological. It has a vision of careers of the future, unlike other universities. So you can see that reflected also on the buildings, as you can see here. And in terms of where can you live? If you want, you can live in campus, in the Clayton campus. We have quite a few residences. These are only some examples. So you can live in campus, and or you can live outside. But most of our students prefer to live in campus because it's a great experience. At least they live there for 1 year, then they make friends, and then they get a partner, and sometimes they move out and rent jointly. It can be less expensive if you rent outside, if you share with other people or friends. But if you want to live in campus, we have this alternative. And here you can see an example of a room. So it has your own bathroom, your small kitchen, your study, and you have common areas like for having parties, for playing pool, for playing billiard, for watching movies, so it's a great way to meet people from other faculties and making new friends. If you are interested in living on campus, when you start to apply, I recommend that you start applying to the residence, because there's waiting lists. You do not have to pay anything, but it's important for you to be on the list so you can ensure getting a place. And our transport, how do you move? As I said, if you want to go from one campus to the other, we have our Monash vans, which are ecological and have Wi-Fi. Or if you live in Clayton campus, which is very big, you can take your bike and move and leave your bike wherever you are. It's like a really fun way to transport in Clayton campus. And if you are in Melbourne, you can transport in the trams. This is an example of the trams. They're like external trains, as I was saying. Or if you're in the middle of the city, like downtown, you can move in the City Circle tram, which is free. But also, if you are a student, you can get a discount for all the transportation in Melbourne because you are students in Victoria State and Melbourne City. So that's a very good alternative as well. And as I said, we are the largest university in Australia. We have also campuses in other regions of the world. For example, we have a campus in Malaysia, another one in Italy, specifically in Prato, like the Tuscany region, La Toscana. We also opened a new campus in Indonesia, and we have a joint campus for research with the Indian Institute of Technology in Mumbai, in India, and also a joint campus in Southeast University in China. So what does this mean for you? That you might be able to go to another of our campus and make some of your subjects there. We also have many agreements with other universities in the world if you want to go and study abroad. But our campuses are based in these regions. And it's important because if you want to stay in Australia when you finish your degree, you need to have studied at least 2 years in Australia. If you get out to study, if you go out of the country, you could not get that visa. But if you come to a campus that is like in another country, but it's from Monash, you could get that permission for your visa. Why? Because they're Australian campuses. They belong to Monash, which is an Australian university. Now we're going to talk about our world rankings. We are placed in top 50 in the world. Currently, we are number 42 in the QS World University Rankings, 42 globally, which is really, really high. I don't know if you know how our rankings measured. The rankings only measure the top 1,000 universities in the world. Just so you can imagine, in Mexico, just in Mexico, we have like more than 3,000 universities just in Mexico. Imagine how many there are in the world. So Monash is number 42, so that's really, really high. And these are some of our examples, like QS, 42 in the world, Times Higher Education World University Rankings were 54, and in the best global universities from the US News World Report from the United States were 37. So this is really, really high. You have to be very careful with which rankings you read because there's many types of rankings, like young universities, like popular universities. There's many rankings, but the ones that measure quality, the most respected rankings are those. And also rankings measure like by areas of study. These are just some of our examples in areas of study for Monash. This is taking into account Times Higher Education Rankings, QS World University Rankings. So these are just some of the examples. So we're really, really highly ranked as well. For example, in pharmacy, we're number 2 in the world, above Oxford, above Cambridge, above Harvard. I mean, we have some amazing, amazing rankings. And where you see the asterisk, we are also number 1 in Australia. And we're number 1 in Australia, for example, in engineering and in information technologies. And we are the only university in the country, in all Australia, that has 2 separate faculties, one for engineering and one for information technologies. And something important from, for example, our faculty of engineering, if you're making a master's degree, you can practice engineering. You can become an engineer and practice in Australia. Why? Because our master's degree is accredited by the Australian Association of Engineers, same as for information technologies. So that's really important. You can practice your careers in the country when you finish. And for you that are interested in business, like business, finance, and economics, we have Monash Business School. I don't know if you know how business schools are measured. Besides the ranking that we are very high, we have the famous Triple Crown accreditation. What is that? That measures the quality of business schools in regions of the world. One accreditation is British, the other one is European, and the other accreditation is from the United States of America. So some business schools only have 1 accreditation, some have 2, but we have the 3. That is called the famous Triple Crown accreditation, and less than 100 business schools in the world have the Triple Crown. So what does this mean to you? You will guarantee the highest quality of business schools in the world, and your degrees will also be valid in the United States, in Europe, and in the United Kingdom. So the doors of business, economics, and finance open up in the world for you. And in employability, we rank 54 in the world, which is very, very high. And we actually have like our own company of recruitment. It's called Monash Talent, because companies and government ask a lot for our students and for our alumni. So we have this company, which is new, and it will make matches from our students with whatever vacancies there are. So you can get a match if someone is looking for someone with your profile. And well, for you that are interested in research, as I explained, we are very, very highly regarded in research. We belong to the group of 8, and we are leaders in research and innovation. So we have amazing installments for research, for anything related to whatever your area of study is. And we invest like millions of dollars specifically in research. And well, let's talk about our study programs. We have 10 faculties and we cover pretty much everything. We have almost every type of program except dentistry and veterinary science. Everything else, we pretty much have it. So everything is distributed in these faculties. So we have undergraduate degree, so you can make like your bachelor degree, and you can also make a double bachelor degree. How does that work? If you make one more year of studies, you come out with 2 separate degrees for your bachelor degree, for your undergraduate degree. So that's an amazing opportunity because with just 1 year, you get 2 different accreditations. And that gives you a high competitive advantage over other universities in the world and over any other students applying for the same job. So we have everything that is distributed here. For example, in art design and architecture, we have everything from communications, international relations. We also have like for a master degree, we have an amazing one called International Development Practice, which is multidisciplinary. They take you to another region as well, another country to make your practices. It's really great. If you studied international relations, you would love that program, for example. We have communications, strategic communications, media, cultural and creative industries. We have every type of programs, like also like international tourism, which is sustainable, which is what is currently used. In art design and architecture, of course, we have architecture, urban planning and design with many specialties as well. We also have business, economics, finance. Like for masters, we have an amazing program, which is the Master of Global Business. The first year is global business, and the second year you can combine it with other things like marketing or like applied finance or like economics or management. So in only 2 years, you can come out with 2 separate degrees in business. It depends what kind of program you will be choosing. We also have an executive MBA, which is amazing, which you can combine with a Master of Business as well. And of course, we have programs for economics, for banking and finance, for management and just marketing on its own. And on science, we have programs like Master of Green and Sustainable Technologies. We have a Master of Environment and Sustainability, a Master of Food and Agroindustry, one of Genome Analytics. Genetics is something that is really, really ongoing in science nowadays. And also, like, for example, just Master of Science with many specialties. In education, we have everything: Masters for teachers, Master for educators that are not teachers, Master of Translation Studies. Like we have all types of programs there. In engineering, we have the Master of Professional Engineering, which you can come out and work as an engineer once you graduate. Information technology, we have programs like cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, data science, information technologies, business information systems. We have all types of options as well. With law, we have many specialties also. And in medicine, nursing, and health, for example, we have biomedical science. We have, for example, a program of nutrition science, which interests many of you maybe. We have nursing, biotechnology, clinical embryology, health services management, public health, which is also very popular. And for pharmacy, we have like a Master in Pharmaceutical Sciences, or also bachelor degrees in any of those that I spoke about. Something very important is that Monash is very flexible. For example, if you like 2 programs and you are unsure of which one to choose, but you like both programs, you can choose one. And if you speak to the coordinator of your program, he or she will probably let you take some electives from the other program that you liked. So Monash is very flexible in that sense, and that's something that makes also Monash really interesting for our students. Of course, we also have like master degrees, masters by research, and PhDs. And as I was saying, for bachelor degrees, if you study 1 more year, you come out with 2 separate degrees. And here you can see all these mixtures for the bachelor degrees, what can match what. Not everything matches everything, but here you can see the graphic of what can match which type of program. And well, something that is really interesting about Monash is that it links industry with whatever you are learning. So for example, when you are in your bachelor degree, you will have the opportunity to make some, make an elective called like Global Immersion Guarantee. You can do that like in another country, and also like Monash Innovation Guarantee. So you can like improve your employability skills and your innovation skills. So that is done in another country, and Monash pays for everything, for your visa and for your flights and for pretty much everything. That's for undergraduate students. For example, for the Global Immersion Guarantee Program, you can go to Fiji Islands, Indonesia, India, Malaysia, China, Italy. I mean, we have many options. And for the Global Immersion Guarantee, they let you work with industry leaders and to design solutions for a certain problem that they give you. So it's a really good way to practice your knowledge. And for the ones interested in research, since you are in undergraduate, we have a research experimentation discovery. You can work in projects with researchers from Monash and like to make a change in climate or any other challenges that there are currently in the world. And for those of you that are going to study a master's degree, on the last semester, you have a part that is like practicing in the industry or, you know, in the field of what you are studying. So that is so you can totally practice your knowledge and put it into the real world. So you can make like a work for real clients or like an industry placement. We have all these options as well. And as I said, you can go for half a year on Start Abroad. We have many partners universities. You can go for a year, well, for half a year up to a year, depends on what you're starting and the level. And well, now we're going to talk about the entry requirements. So we have the academic part and the English part. The academic, you need to have finished your prior degree, of course. You need to send us the grades, like, you know, like the diploma that you finished. And of course, we need to see like how you were graded, like the grading scale that your school or university used. And you need to send a CV if you are going to a master's degree. If you are for undergrad, you don't need to do that, but please do. Everyone needs to send us like a small personal statement, like 500 words, saying why are you choosing Monash? Why do you want to study that? So I'm giving you many like ideas of what to say regarding Monash and explaining more about Monash. And in very few programs, you need like work experience, but it's only like 2 or 3 programs. So it's really, really rare. And very rarely you might need reference letters, but it's a minority of the programs as well. Everything will need to be translated in English because your documents will be obviously in Portuguese. So you need to translate that. So Australian Center, the agent, can give you like details of translators when you can do that. And they will certify your documents as well, like the agent, Australian Center. They will do that for free. If not, you will need to take your papers to a notary, and that's very expensive. So Australian Center will do that for free because it's our agent in Brazil. And for research, if you are interested in research for a PhD or master by research, you need to have research experience, at least 1 thesis or papers or 2 theses. That's really important. If not, you could not be accepted. And regarding the English, there's a minimum score for entry, which is what you can see here, like the TOEFL internet-based test. This is a score, and the other is the IELTS score. That's the minimum. Most of the programs require that. The majority is only that. Very few programs need a higher level, but most of them are this. Please remember, we are not accepting the TOEFL Home Edition. That was used for the pandemic, but we do not accept that anymore. And your test needs to still be valid when you start your program because it expires after 2 years, okay? And something that is really nice for you to hear is that Monash does not have entry exams. You will not make a test of any kind, and you do not require to make the GRE or GMAT tests, which many other universities do require. They are very, very difficult and very hard and very expensive to get prepared. So Monash does not require that. They will only look at your skills, at your leadership skills, at your grades, and at your English, okay? And now we're going to talk about the type of scholarships that we have. So every year, Monash offers something for our Latin American students. Why? Because we know that Latin America doesn't have the same salary as in Europe. So, for example, for undergraduate degrees, if you need a preparation for starting, we are giving this year $8,000 off. And there's a limited number, but we still have some available. Our next semester starts in July. Our semesters mainly start in February and July, except for research. That's can be in any time of the year. But for undergraduate programs like bachelor degrees and for master degrees, it's mainly February or July. You are very much in time to apply to July entry if you want, or for February 2025. But if you start this year, if you need a preparation for the bachelor, we're giving an $8,000 discount. And if you're starting directly, like your bachelor degree, or if you're making a master's by coursework, not by research, not a PhD, master's by coursework, we are giving $20,000 off. It's an automatic scholarship just for you because you are Latin American. So that's an amazing advantage because it's the highest scholarship that Monash gives automatically to any region of the world. So it's just for Latin Americans. So once you get accepted, you will get the offer. When you are ready to pay, you will get the offer of your, we call it study grant, which is like an automatic scholarship. And you need to be Latin American to get it. You need to have a full offer. You cannot have any condition like English, like everything needs to be already, like checked, like to have a full, what we call a full offer. And we divide that amount, $20,000, in your first and second semester because it's when you have more expenses. So you will get that automatically once you are accepted. And we also have an agreement with an international company that gives like financing. It's called Prodigy Finance. It's just for students in the world. So we are one of the very few universities in Australia that has an agreement with them. They cover only master's degrees, not all of them. There's a list of what they cover, but it's a really good chance to get like financing for your course because their interest rate is very low in comparison with banks. It is very, very low. It's around 11%. And they give you up to 20 years to pay them back, which is a long, long time. So that becomes a very small quantity once you're working. So all Latin American nationalities are accepted, obviously Brazilians too. So you can look for more information in that website or ask Danny Faber here from Australian Center or your counselor from the agency Australian Center. You can ask for more information about that. And well, we give many support services because you are our beloved international students. We receive you for free in the airport. We take you where you're going to live, in campus or out of campus. It doesn't matter. You get like free transfer from the airport. Someone takes you directly. And you can live, as I said, in the campus or outside. And you will be having an orientation week before your program starts. It's really important because they will give you tips about Monash, tips about Melbourne, about Australia, about the services that you can get for free because you are an international student. And you can also participate in more than 100 clubs and societies, which are really fun because, guys, it's about having fun. It's not only studying. You're going to have an amazing time, an amazing experience. So you can join anything you like. For example, in these clubs and societies, they are actually directed by the own students. You can open your own club or society. Sometimes we have had Latin American students. They make like Latin Americans at Monash. They make a club and many people join, but not only Latin Americans, like people from other cultures that want to meet Latin Americans. So it's an amazing way to meet other friends and like connections. You can also have like support academic and English, even if you are already studying, you get a lot of support because you are an international student and it's for free. And we also have like job fairs by faculties for general. So it's a good chance for you to get a job maybe. And we have internships. You can get paid or not, but it's a good opportunity to get hired afterwards. So we have that as well. And let's hope you do not need it, but we have medical assistance and counseling and also legal and financial aid. I'm going to leave you with a small video and we'll come back for your questions. Well, so here you can see what I was saying in the beginning about our vision. Our mission is doing something for community, for humanity. You can see examples of the stem cells, of the first in vitro transplant. Those bicycles that you saw, that's like a research facility. It's called the wind tunnel. That's where the first COVID experiments of transmission were made in the world. We have really, really amazing research, as I said. If you want more information, you can always get it in the internet, but I suggest that you go to Australian Center, that is our official agent in Brazil, and they can guide you throughout your process for free. It's a service they give you, and you can get like a free code, so your application is free, so it has no cost. Otherwise, it would be $100, but it's free if you do this through Australian Center. They can counsel you. They have offices in Australia. So even if you are already in Melbourne, you can get help of any type you need. And well, I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you, Sharon. Before we start questions, I just want to, let me just, I will switch to Portuguese, Sharon. Bom, time, pessoal, eu quero agradecer a Sharon, claro, enfim, a universidade é incrível, é realmente uma universidade de outro mundo. E eu quero só, complementando aí algumas coisas que a Sharon comentou, e aí quando a gente fala de por que estudar em uma universidade na Austrália, né? Por que fazer esse investimento? Quando eu falo investimento, é investimento de tempo, também, claro, investimento financeiro. É muito importante que vocês entendam algumas coisas que eu gosto sempre de compartilhar, né? Quando a gente faz um curso desse em uma universidade, uma das melhores universidades do mundo, e a gente faz um curso de 1 ano, 2 anos, 3 anos, e acaba tendo uma qualificação desse nível, a gente ganha uma exposição incrível, né? O currículo, a gente cria um portfólio, vocês saem desse curso com um portfólio com relevância internacional. Uma das coisas mais importantes no mundo de hoje, para um sucesso profissional, eu costumo dizer que é um network. E estudando em uma universidade que tem mais de 170 nacionalidades, como a Sharon comentou, o network que vocês vão ter, não só local, de australianos, mas também network mundial, internacional, que vai ajudá-los a trabalhar em grandes empresas, grandes organizações do mundo inteiro. Além de que a universidade, a Monash, ela expõe todos os alunos, durante o curso, a indústria local. Então, vocês já vão conseguir praticar algumas habilidades. E quando vocês se formam, quando vocês recebem a qualificação, vocês já estão preparados para o mercado de trabalho. Diferente de uma universidade, às vezes, aqui no Brasil, que quando a gente termina um curso, a gente precisa passar por vários estágios para aprender a trabalhar. Lá, não. Vocês já vão ter tido muita experiência dentro da universidade ou num estágio, ou fazendo algum tipo de projeto interno com indústria, até para colocar no currículo, para ter uma carta de referência. Acho que isso é muito importante, tá? Eu gosto de dizer que a gente acaba refletindo sobre a nossa carreira, né? Sobre algumas habilidades que são inerentes, às vezes, ao aprendizado, que trabalho em equipe, aprender a conviver com diferentes, num mundo multicultural, isso é muito importante. E quando a gente fala de upskill ou reskill, o que eu quero dizer? Eu quero dizer que aprender uma nova habilidade ou reaprender alguma habilidade, ela pode aumentar o nosso desenvolvimento profissional e pessoal significativamente. Então, considerando os nossos interesses, as metas de carreira, considerando as demandas do mercado, né, para escolher uma habilidade que seja alinhada com as suas aspirações. Quando você vai fazer uma pós-graduação, você está aprendendo algo novo. Ou se é na mesma área que você já estudou, você está aprendendo coisas inovadoras, maneiras diferentes de fazer uma coisa que o mundo inteiro aceita. Então, eu acho que isso é muito importante. Quando a Sharon comentou do centro de carreiras da Monash, eu acho que isso é a coisa mais importante para a gente poder nos preparar, para vocês se prepararem, né, para novos processos seletivos futuros. E a coisa mais importante que eu vou falar agora, eu acho, quando a gente estuda no exterior, quando a gente muda, é rever os nossos valores e ganhar uma nova perspectiva sobre a vida. Isso é um ganho que é assim, incrível, sensacional, né? Então, eu gosto muito de falar sobre isso, para que vocês entendam como vocês serão transformados se vocês fizerem uma universidade desse nível e desse gabarito, tá? Por que é importante uma agência especializada? Primeiro que eu gosto sempre de dizer aqui que nós não cobramos taxa nenhuma para fazer esse processo, tá? Muito pelo contrário, nós vamos guiá-los com a nossa expertise. A gente consegue montar para vocês um plano de estudo personalizado. Eu preciso do curso de inglês, a gente consegue ajudar com o curso de inglês, preparar vocês para ir para uma universidade, para ir para Monash. A gente consegue entender a possibilidade de visto necessária para atender o projeto de intercâmbio de cada um de vocês e fazer com que a viagem de vocês seja totalmente segura. Lembrando que, hoje em dia, todo mundo tem acesso às informações, as informações são super rápidas e tem aí em vários lugares, né? Mas existem informações verdadeiras, existem informações que não são verdadeiras. A gente tem que tomar um pouco de cuidado com isso. E outra, a experiência que uma pessoa que está publicando alguma coisa online vive não é a mesma coisa que nós viveremos, porque as pessoas são diferentes. Então, é muito importante que vocês tenham um parceiro. Eu me chamo de parceiro de vocês no projeto. A gente vai dividir experiências, entender necessidades, entender sonhos, entender a capacidade de cada um para poder ajudá-los nesse projeto e garantir que a jornada de vocês seja realmente incrível e inesquecível, tá? E na hora da viagem, né? Imagina vocês se organizando para viajar, tendo que organizar a conta no banco aqui do Brasil, fechar a conta do banco. Eu tenho meu carro, eu preciso vender meu carro, eu preciso vender minha casa, eu preciso mudar. É muita coisa. Então, nós vamos dar todo esse suporte para vocês do lado para que vocês façam uma viagem tranquila. A gente faz uma sessão de embarque, ajuda com a passagem aérea, acomodação, traslado, matrícula da escola das crianças, seguro viagem, abertura da conta corrente lá na Austrália, se for o caso, enfim, vocês vão contar com a Australian Center aqui no Brasil e na Austrália em todos os momentos. Comentei que a Austrália é super aberta, né? É um país aí que tem um programa de imigração qualificada. Vinícius Barreto é o nosso agente migratório, fundador da Australian Center, há 22 anos atrás. A AC já está no mercado há bastante tempo. Eu acho que nós somos a agência hoje no Brasil, uma das únicas agências especializadas no destino Austrália, que está no mercado há mais de 20 anos. Então, e nós temos aí o nosso CEO, que também é agente migratório. Então, aqueles que querem entender o que eu devo fazer para conseguir morar, viver, mudar para a Austrália, vem falar com a gente, que a gente vai tentar fazer aí, trilhar um caminho para que vocês tenham sucesso, tá? Bom, comentei, né, das nossas experiências, a gente faz assistência, planos de estudo, e muito importante, muitas pessoas hoje acabam renovando o visto na Austrália, né, e a gente ajuda com isso também, tá? Nós trabalhamos com várias instituições de ensino da Austrália e podemos ajudar com isso também. Eu queria que a gente vai abrir agora para perguntas, mas eu vou só passar para esse slide e dizer para vocês, se quem quiser conversar com a gente, eu sei que muitos de vocês, a grande maioria, ou se não todos, já recebeu um contato nosso pelo WhatsApp ou pelo telefone, tá? Então, se vocês têm dúvidas, vamos marcar um bate-papo. Não, eu só quero que alguém me ligue. Escaneie aqui, é o nosso WhatsApp, deixa uma mensagem que a gente, nos próximos, amanhã, se a gente conseguir amanhã ou depois, a gente vai entrar em contato com vocês, vai esclarecer alguns pontos, principalmente para aqueles que talvez tenham alguma dificuldade com o inglês e não conseguiram entender tudo que a Sharon comentou. Entre em contato com a gente e a gente vai bater um papo com todos vocês, tá bom? Sharon, let's go for the questions.
Sure. And I forgot to mention something. If any of you want a Master of Professional Engineering, we have a scholarship of up to 20 weeks of free English. If you are close to getting the required score, we give 20 free weeks of English, but only for that program, only for the Master of Professional Engineering. So if you are starting this year or next year, you need to take your course this year. So you can ask more to Australian Center as well.
Thank you. Sharon, Joanna, she has a very, very specific question I want to share with you. She's finishing her bachelor in Brazil in mining engineering. She wants to do a postgraduate program, master's degree. She just wants you to give some tips like investments, perspectives.
Just generally for a master's degree, well, I mean, first you need to see our programs to see what suits you best according to your interest. I shared like the brochure for download here in the chat box.
Yeah, I think it's more something related to mining.
For mining, well, depend. For mining, we have mining for undergraduate. For postgraduate, you might be interested in like materials engineering, for example. It depends, like maybe like a master of professional engineering, and it could be it has many specialties, like for example chemical or like materials engineering. That's something that could interest you. Or sometimes if you already have that, they're interested in going into business. So you might be interested in like in a master of business with any type of like specialty that could be useful for you. For example, it has specialties like, I'll tell you in a second, like leadership or strategic management or supply chain management, project management, financial risk and management. I mean, it has many specialties. If you are already into mining, you might be interested in going into a different area. Many times students like to open up more their knowledge scope once they go into a master's degree.
Thank you. We had some questions about online studies, especially master.
No, we are not accepting online studies. That was accepted in the pandemic, but not anymore.
From Brazil, students that want to enroll and study in Brazil. Do you have something or not?
No, as I was saying, we don't accept online studies. Part of the experience is being in Australia. So no, but maybe, I mean, we have programs. Most of the master degrees are 2 years. But if you want to go for a shorter period, you can make like a certificate which is half a year, or a diploma which is 1 year. Nothing will compare to having a master's degree in your curriculum, of course. But we have master's degrees like that. You could make that in 1 year or year and a half. It depends on your prior qualifications. And if you already started something similar, or if you have like a lot of work experience, you could do that even like in a year. It all depends. So it's much better to have that experience of living in Australia. It's really, really exciting. It's part of like the amazing magic of studying in Australia is living there. But if you need to do something shorter, you could get to do it in 1 year or year and a half, depending on what you worked on or studied. But please remember that you could not stay in Australia if you wanted, because you need to study at least 2 years in Australia to be able to stay afterwards in Australia to work.
All right. We do have a few questions about master's degrees. And you have mentioned during the presentation about scholarship. So there is quite a lot of questions about it. All programs have the scholarship, the one that you've mentioned, masters.
Most, the huge majority, but again, like the huge majority, it's bachelor degrees for students that entry directly, and master degrees by coursework, which means not by research, masters by coursework, not PhDs, not masters by research, it's just masters by coursework. There's a few exceptions on the list. Danny has them as well. She can give them to you afterwards. There's a list of exceptions, but the majority do have this $20,000 of scholarships. Yes.
Okay. So there is Ingrid, I don't know how to say that in English. Sorry, Sharon, but she's doing at the moment a master's degree in nanotechnology engineering. And she wants to do a study abroad for a semester. Do you have study abroad for master degree?
Yeah, anyone can go and study abroad. Yes, I can share with Danny the details afterwards. And yes, you can apply for study abroad. You can start the same as the semesters in February or in July. So yes, absolutely. You can go and study abroad for one semester if you're already studying.
Ingrid, a gente consegue te ajudar sim, para você fazer um semestre numa mobilidade acadêmica que a gente chama, né? A gente pode bater um papo e a gente te explica. There is someone here asked about the full scholarship, 100% scholarship. Can you just, I understand that's a very hard. As bolsas de estudos 100%, elas são muito difíceis, porque o estudante precisa ter uma média.
That's almost impossible. That's almost impossible. There are only 4 scholarships of those 100%. There's only 4, and we have 70,000 students. So you need to be a god, like a genius, a total genius. You need to have gotten like an amazing grade point average in your prior degree, like at least 96 up over 100 at least, and you will be competing with students that have 99% or even more, like geniuses. And you need to have like an amazing track of volunteering or having been like the representative of your school in international competitions. Like, you know, you need to show like extracurricular experiences that are really, really outstanding. So that's the only way to compete. And I mean, but you can try, but again, there's only 4 for the whole university. They're almost impossible to get. Let's be very realistic. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if a master's by research, if the student is doing a master by research, do you know about the work limitation hours? It's 48 hours per.
It's the same. It's the same for everyone in Australia. Yeah, it's the same.
A autorização de trabalho na Austrália ela é de 48 horas quinzenais. Os estudantes de doutorado têm permissão de trabalho full-time. Não os estudantes de mestrado, pós-graduação, bacharel, todos esses outros estudantes, eles têm eles têm limitação de 48 horas semanais, tá?
And full time on vacations. That's important. You can work full time on vacations.
Sim. Agora, there is another question here that I think it's interesting. Do you accept the PTE test, the Pearson, or just IELTS or TOEFL?
No, yeah, we accept the Pearson. It's rare. That's why I don't even mention it. But yeah, we accept the Pearson test as well.
So do you accept the Pearson? Great. Eu vou depois pegar as notas do Pearson e eu posso passar para vocês, tá? I have a question here about a research program. To join a research program, maybe a PhD, does she will need a minimum of 2 papers published? Or there is...
Yes, of course, because you need, if you're going to be a researcher, you need to prove that you have researched. So yeah, but at minimum, it can be one, wait, I'm sorry, Danny. It can be 1 thesis or 2 papers, or 1 thesis from your bachelor's and 1 thesis from your master's, but you need to show a lot of like research, and that will be reviewed by a supervisor or 2 supervisors. You need to contact, I suggest 2 supervisors, and it's up to them. They will see how much research you have made.
A gente ajuda também vocês com os cursos de pesquisa, tá? Doutorado, a gente consegue ajudar. Então, só bater um papo aí com a gente, escaneia aqui esse QR Code, que a gente já bate um papo e conversa com vocês. Sharon, I think that's it. There's only one question that I want to ask you about nutrition. Do you have any master's degree related to that area? Sort of?
Yes, we have a master's degree in, it's called different in masters. It's called Nutrition and Dietetics, Master of Nutrition and Dietetics. We do have that. And we rank like 32 in the world in medicine. So yeah, it's in our Faculty of Medicine. It's really, really good as well.
Okay. I think that's it. I will just in Portuguese say something. a bolsa por mérito acadêmico, ela é garantida durante a aplicação. Então, assim, existe... a universidade, ela tem uns fundos que ela para o estudante internacional, para o estudante Latam, né? Mas se vocês quiserem aplicar para uma bolsa de mérito acadêmico, a gente precisa da documentação de vocês, das universidades, dos cursos anteriores, toda traduzida, a gente ajuda vocês com a tradução, nós temos um parceiro, e manda para a universidade. A universidade vai checar isso e nos dar o resultado. Como a Sharon mencionou, algumas bolsas mais altas, elas são muito limitadas. A bolsa 100% de valores, são apenas 4 bolsas disponíveis na universidade, e os melhores alunos acabam ficando com essa... Então, são aqueles alunos com média 9,98, mais ou menos isso. Então, é só importante aqui deixar claro para vocês, tá? Doutorado direto após a graduação, não. A não ser que você já tenha... Para fazer um doutorado, é importante que vocês tenham experiência com pesquisa. Se você tem experiência com pesquisa, se você tem publicação, entre em contato com a gente analisa o tipo de pesquisa e publicação e consegue identificar se vocês, enfim, teriam um aceite em um doutorado ou não, tá? Bom, a gente... The last one. How can we know if you are eligible for a 1 year or 1.5 year master's program?
Well, admissions will look into your CV, into what you studied, and into your work experience. If, let's say, if you studied like information technologies, it's 2 years master's. But if you already studied that, and you prove that you studied that, and you prove that you have work experience, that could be even a year. Or if you studied that but do not have work experience, it could be a year and a half. It all depends on your qualifications, so admissions needs to review that specifically. But again, please be mindful that if you don't study for at least 2 years, you could not stay in Australia afterwards. That's important because we have had students in that situation, and they call me crying like, please, I want to extend my master's, and they can't. The visa is for the time of the program, and they cannot stay longer, and they miss that opportunity of being able to stay and work in Australia. So just think about it very well. If you want to make it short, sure, go ahead, but just be mindful that what you applied for is as long as you will be or not able to stay afterwards, okay?
Thank you, Sharon, very much.
You're very welcome. I hope that this was interesting. I hope that you guys can come to Monash. You're going to totally love the experience. The only thing they don't like is that they have to go back home. But remember, you can stay and work in Australia. It's an open country that loves Latin Americans. It's really warm to foreigners that feel at home, actually. And make your process through Australian Centre. You're in very good hands. They're experts in Australian education. They will guide you from the start all the way to your visa. And as I said, even if you're in Australia, opening your bank account, whatever you need, they will be there for you. So they're fully trustable. That's why we work with them. So I hope that you're able to come. And I look forward to seeing you at Monash.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for being here. Eu queria agradecer a todos vocês por ficarem conosco até o final. Espero que as informações tenham sido válidas. Nós seguimos aí à disposição para conversar com todos, com cada um de vocês e guiá-los no projeto que vocês, de acordo com, enfim, o perfil de cada um, tá bom? Uma boa noite para todo mundo. Almeida, Rafael, muito obrigado pela parceria aqui hoje. Sharon, thank you very much. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you for the invitation. Thanks everyone for your attendance, your interest, and for your time.
Thank you. Tchau, gente. Beijo. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. See you at Monash. Bye. Bye.